Hey you guys, thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I hope all you guys are having an amazing day. My name is Jay. If you're new here, please make sure to subscribe and become part of the family here, okay? So this video that I'm doing, you guys, is actually a part 2 to the one that I did yesterday. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. It's going to be this video here. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So y'all, this video that I'm doing is actually going to be everything that I went through while I was inside of the jail. So this is a disclosure. It's going to be a lot of information. If you don't like hearing certain things, this probably ain't the video for you. But yeah, y'all, so for everyone else that's rocking and ready, let's go. So y'all, when I ended up getting into the jail, the first thing that they had me do was sit down, and I had to actually wait. I had to wait for the lady. It seems like she was the person that was like controlling whatever was going on with the holding cell and all of that. And because there was a whole bunch of men around, they wasn't able to check me because they was actually about to like search me and whatnot, so that I'll be able to go to the back where the holding cell was. So when she finally came, she had me stand on like a yellow square or whatever in front of like this blank board where they was going to be taking my picture or whatnot. I had to take off all my jewelry. She had me turn my socks inside out because I had my socks on with my slides, and like I told you yesterday, I had on a tan shirt and some like gray sweatpants. So I took off all my jewelry, I turned my socks inside out and all of that, y'all. I even like, let me tell y'all, the sweatpants that I had on were the sweatpants that you can like pull the string and tie it, you know what I'm saying? So she had me untie it, and then she told me that I have to pull the string out or they're gonna have to cut it, but I can't have anything hanging. So I tried to tug on it, y'all, and it was like one of them strings that it wasn't really about to come out, you know what I'm saying, unless like you really pull the heck out of it. And I pulled both sides and it wasn't working. So she seen that it wasn't working, and she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to cut it. So she pulled it like really hard on one side and she cut it so that it went all the way to the back, and then she did the same thing to the other side. She pulled it really hard and she cut it so that it would go all the way to the back. So like the pants that I had yesterday, y'all, literally the string is like all the way in the back. Like you would have to literally cut the pants in order to pull that string out, and there's no need to even do that because you're not going to be able to put it back together. Like, so that's just what that was. After she had like did all of that and I got my pictures taken and all of that extra stuff, they gave me a paper that had my property list. I even had to take off my beads, y'all. I have 2 waist beads that I have on, and I don't have it on now, but I left it at home, I believe. So I took it off because I had to take everything off, and I was just happy that the beads that I had on were the stretchy ones, so she didn't have to cut it. Otherwise she was gonna have to cut it, but I was able to like stretch it and like just pull it down over my body, you know, and take it off and put it in the bag. So I'm able to put it back on. I just ain't put it back on yet. So she was even like, dang, most people have to cut it off. And I was like, yeah, well, I don't want to cut it because it's able to come off. So anyway, they gave me the paper with the list of all my property up on there. And the officer, a different officer, this man, he came up to me. He was like, I'm going to give you your phone and you can only write down 3 numbers. And if you go onto social media, I'm going to take your phone for you. You're not going to be able to write down any numbers. So I was like, okay. So I took the paper and a pen and I wrote down my husband's number. That's the first number I put up on there. Then I put my mom's number, and then I put my cousin's number. And he was like, and just for a tip, don't put any numbers that you already like know, like you memorized. Don't put any of those numbers. And I was like, okay. So I do want to say real quick, I do know my mom's number. I just didn't know my husband's number or my cousin's number, but I wanted to write my mom's number down, y'all, because I was so nervous and had so much going through my mind that I didn't want to forget it. So I ended up writing that down. So I put those 3 numbers, and then he took my phone, he powered it off, and he put it in the bag with the rest of my stuff and like slid it back under to the lady that was behind the glass. So after that, I had to go and sit back down, and I had to wait on a nurse. So a nurse called me over, and she did like my blood pressure and stuff like that. And I literally had like almost a perfect blood pressure because I wasn't like stressed out at all. Like I was like, I got me and I'm gonna be fine. Like I'm about to get up out of here later today anyway. You know, that's literally the thoughts I was going through my head. So I was like, I ain't gonna trip over none of this stuff. I'm really gonna look at it as every situation is a learning situation, because it is, you know. So yeah, so she did my blood pressure, and then after that I had to step into this machine. This machine was basically like an x-ray to like make sure you didn't have anything anywhere it didn't need to be. You know what I'm saying? So I stepped into the machine, they did the x-ray or whatever, and then I got out and I had to sit down and wait for the lady that had checked me the first time to come back and get me. So she came back and she got me, and she took me over to the holding cell, but I didn't go in the holding cell. She had me sitting outside the holding cell. So I sat there and I had to wait on another nurse, the nurse that was like behind the counter, a different, like, this was in front of the holding cell. The other place was like in the front entrance or whatever of like the back area or whatnot. So when I was sitting in front of the holding cell, the nurse had called me up to her, and she was basically asking me questions like, if an emergency happens with you, do you give us permission to help you? And, you know, stuff like that. And asked me like my medical history and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah, so she also checked my blood pressure as well. And then I had to go and I sit back down until like the few girls that was also around me, like there was a few girls that was also already there sitting outside of the holding cell. So I guess once all of us was done, then the lady that had checked me, when she took off my beads and everything, she opened up the holding cell, and then we all had to go in. So y'all, when I walked into the holding cell, it just kind of felt like when I walked into the holding cell, y'all, it kind of felt like the game is beginning. Like whatever was about to started in that moment. You know what I'm saying? And the way, I hated the way that they slammed the freaking door. The way they slammed the door behind you for the holding cell is absolutely ridiculous. It almost sounds like a freaking dungeon door. Like it's just like a big like thunder boom, you know, each time they open and shut the door. Like it's almost like they do it on purpose to just make you feel like you're stuck here and you can't get out type thing, you know? And that's literally what it was. So I came in the holding cell, and a whole bunch of girls was already sitting there, and they was just like looking at me, like observing me, you know what I'm saying? And I seen that they had 2 phones in there, and the phones that they had in there, you were only able to call out to Georgia numbers because, you know, I stay in Atlanta here in Georgia. So you wasn't able to make any foreign number calls or whatever, and it was free. So that's one good thing that I did like about it, that you didn't have to pay for the phone calls when you was in the holding cell. So there was 2 people already on the phone, so I just waited like patiently for them to get off the phone. And when they did, I got on the phone, and I can't remember if I called my mom or my husband first, but I believe I called my mom first. Yeah, I did. I called my mom first, and I spoke to her to see like what was going on. And she was telling me, you know, like it kind of gets in the midst of the video that I did yesterday about how she has spoke to somebody and all of that. So like I said, if you ain't see that video, make sure you go watch that video and then come back here, because we're gonna skip over all of that. So after I got off the phone or whatnot, I went and I sat down, and child, that was when I noticed that someone had got up to go and use the bathroom. So this was the first time that I actually seen somebody like using the bathroom, and I wasn't even trying to look. But it's so weird when you're in a space that's so small where everybody's able to see just everything. It's like hard not to like have that out of your vision when there's literally nothing else that you can look at type stuff. Like, so my head is turned this way, but I can't cover my ears, you know what I'm saying? Like you hear everything, like everything is just going on around you, and it was so annoying. Around like 11 or 12, y'all, they served us lunch, right? So the lady opened up the door, and she was like, okay, ladies, y'all come out here, y'all get y'all lunch. So some of the girls, it was already some of the girls that was already in that cell, y'all, in that holding cell, they had already been there for like 4 or 5 days, you know what I'm saying? And in that holding cell, I think they keep you like in there for a maximum of 5 days. I thought it was like 72 hours, but clearly that wasn't the case there, because some of the girls said that they had been there for 5 days. No, when I first got there, the girl said that she had been there for 4 days already. And then, child, some of the girls was in there for 3 days. Mind you, y'all, when you up in the holding cell, you're not able to brush your teeth. You're not able to take a shower. You're not able to do none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like none of that. So it already had an odor when I walked in, and just imagine like new people are walking in and out, and people that have already been there already, like every scent that you can think of is what the heck was in there. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And then people are using the bathroom just imagine what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? So we walk out of the holding cell to go and get our lunch. We had to like walk out of the holding cell and do a U-turn and stand in a line so that everybody was able to get out the cell, and we're all standing in a straight line. So we had to walk out the holding cell and do a U-turn and stand in front of the lunch thing. So then she was like, okay, go ahead. And then we was able to walk in, get our lunch, and walk right back into the holding cell. So what they had for lunch, you can either choose between what I thought was peanut butter and jelly sandwich actually turned out to just be a peanut butter sandwich. So you can either choose between a peanut butter sandwich, or you can get a turkey sandwich, and you will get some Lay's chips, and you'll get a small thing of apple juice. And when I say a small thing of apple juice, y'all, like, it was ridiculous. And on top of that, it was freaking frozen. So you was barely even drinking anything. You had to either chew on it or like drink the little bit that had already melted and wait for the rest to melt or whatever. But I thought it was really messed up that they'll give you like all this bread and your juice is barely juicing. You know what I'm saying? Like barely juicing, child. So I didn't know that it was even turkey or peanut butter, because the person that gave it to me, he didn't really speak English. And I was asking him like, what were they? And he was just like showing me, and I was like, just give me this one. I didn't know what it was. So I took it and I ended up picking the turkey. So when I opened it up, because child, first off, I had been out all morning because I was driving or whatnot, so I haven't eaten anything and I was really starving, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So when I opened up the bread, I seen that it was turkey and 2 slices of bread. So I'm looking like, okay, so where's the mayo and the mustard? Child, no mayo, no mustard, no nothing, y'all. You literally just eating it dry like that. And the meat was like, I don't even know what kind of meat that was, because I ain't never seen no turkey that looked like that, y'all. Like, they really had us messed up. It was ridiculous. It was like a grayish, brownish looking thing. I don't know what that was, child. And I eat turkey whenever I go to Subway, because I get turkey on my sandwich. I had told y'all before in one of my videos, you know what I'm saying? And that did not look like what I got at Subway, child. I don't know what that was. It was like some mystery meat type thing, child. I don't know. But y'all, so that's what that was. I did eat it, if you're wondering, because I was starving, y'all. Like, I literally starving, and I didn't know when we was gonna get our next meal, and I was so hungry. But what I did know was that I was gonna be getting out of there that day, which all of this happened on Monday. So anyway, everybody kind of sat down and was having their meals or whatever. At this point, the girls is kind of like, we're all kind of like talking amongst each other and stuff like that. And that's when I get to like find out who is who. And, you know, everybody's asking like, what were you in here for? What were you in here for? Some of the girls I was in there for stuff that I was not even thinking that they was. Nothing that any of the girls that was in there did was anything that was like murder or anything like that. Maybe some of the ones upstairs, but you know, as far as the holding cell, none of them were like that. But it was really, really crazy, y'all. It was really, really crazy. So I get back on the phone and I make my phone call and I start like making my rounds with my family and my husband and all of that. And I'm still just up in there, y'all. So this is the thing that really like pissed me off about the whole thing. When I came into the jail, you guys, I was on my period, which really, 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 really sucked, because I've been having that same pad on, you know what I'm saying? And I did not want to use the bathroom in front of these people, but eventually it got to the point where I had to use the bathroom, y'all. And I could not stand it. So I waited for like a really long time before I actually did use the bathroom, but I didn't want it to get to the point where like I feel like it was jamming me and I had to go, because I be feeling like it just ends up being completely horrible when I feel like I have to like go right now, you know what I'm saying? So eventually I ended up using the bathroom, y'all. They ended up having like some pads that I was able to change into or whatnot, but like I said before, y'all, everything is exposed, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't hide nothing from nobody. Everything is right there. So yeah, it was really, really annoying. So I went over to the toilet. I hated even looking at the toilet. It was so like disgusting looking, but I liked the fact that all the girls in there was actually, you know, being clean about it, and it wasn't like a horrible situation, because let me tell y'all, there was this one, at one point at the time while I was in there, y'all, this one girl, she was like throwing a temper tantrum, and the lady that was like watching over the holding cell came and took her out of there and put her in the cell. And the other girls, they were saying, oh my God, they just put her in that cell. They just put her in that cell. And I was like, what's wrong with that cell? What's going on with that cell? And it was like, that cell, the toilet got nothing but like straight shit all up in there. It was so disgusting, y'all. I felt so bad for her. I was like, that is so nasty, because she's up in there, and I'm pretty sure that room stank, because the holding cell that we in did not smell good. So I can only imagine what she was going through and had to stay in there and was locked in there. And y'all, don't go to jail. Don't do it. So when I went to go and use the bathroom, y'all, I was so embarrassed. I didn't even know what to do. So I did not, let me tell y'all, I don't even sit on public toilets before I can even tell you a jail toilet. I squat, you know what I'm saying, all the time. Like, I can't, unless I'm in my home, you know what I'm saying? I can't do it. Never. So I was squatting over it, and I really hated that, because I hate having to like squat while I'm on my period, because it's just not what I like to do, you know what I'm saying? I like being comfortable, so I like being able to be at home or like at my family house or something like that. So I squatted over it, y'all, and I was just in the bathroom. Let me tell you, while I was squatting, I had like looked up, and this girl that was sitting on the bench, like our eyes locked, y'all, like locked. And then she turned her head, and I was like, oh my freaking gosh, y'all, this is so annoying. Like, I can't even deal right now. So I like changed my pad or whatnot. It was even hard to even like do that, because you know when you change your pad, like as it's ripping, you can like hear it like rip and stuff like that. It was just so annoying. I just couldn't even deal, y'all. So I changed or whatnot, and I got up and I went and I had like washed my hands. The soap dispensary didn't even work, y'all. Like, there was no soap up in there. Hey honey, how are you? Good. So there was like no soap up in there. Hey sweetie. And you just had to use water. You had to use water, and there was nothing that you can do. There was no napkins, no nothing, y'all. So you literally just had to like wipe your hands on your clothes, because mind you, it was freezing in there. So you couldn't just stay with your hands wet, because you was gonna be freezing cold, y'all. Like, so serious. It was ridiculous. So, man, it was just absolutely ridiculous, y'all. I don't even know. I ended up using, when I had put the pad on, y'all, I had to use 2 of them because it was so small. Like, they honestly did not even care. So I put one closer to the front, like my girlies, y'all know what I mean, you know what I'm saying, and one to the back. So I went and I sat down, and everybody kind of caught on to how everything was already while I knew was in that cell. Everybody kind of picked their own place to be, because it kind of seemed like everybody was picking their place to sleep. That's literally how it was. It didn't seem like people were just sitting down to sit down. It seemed like everybody was picking their seat and giving each other space, because eventually folks was about to be going to sleep up in here. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And when I realized that I was going to be sleeping in that jail Monday, y'all, absolutely ridiculous. It was the most uncomfortable situation that I ever had to be in, y'all. No pillow, no covers, no nothing. It was freezing. Like I said before, I had to put my hands in my shirt because it was so cold, and I was just like rubbing my skin and keeping my body like close together, you know what I'm saying? And it was just so ridiculous, y'all. So when I was trying to sleep, I tried to like lay down on my back and put my head back, but whenever I put my head back, y'all, I just felt like my blood was just rushing to my head. So what I ended up doing, y'all, I had my slides. These are the slides that I wore, my Nike slides. So I literally put one slide on the bench, and the other one I literally had on my foot, because I had my socks on, and my socks kept like sliding, because I was trying to just keep my feet up like this while I was like laying back straight. And because there was someone else that was laying down there, like there was no space up in there, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Some people were even laying on the floor, and I'd be damned if I was laying on the floor. That's a definite no. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up taking one of my slides, and I put it on the bench as a pillow, and I literally like laid on my slides so that my head wouldn't like hurt laying on the thing, or even for it can just be like a tiny bit elevated, because that's all I had, you know what I'm saying? And then the other slide I had like on my foot, and I kept it there just to have like grip onto the things so my foot wouldn't slide, so I wouldn't hit shorty, you know what I'm saying? But y'all, it was ridiculous. But that's how I was laying like that. And later on, around like 6 or 7 o'clock, that's when we ended up having dinner, y'all. So let me tell y'all what they gave us for dinner, y'all. They gave us the turkey sandwich, the peanut butter sandwich, the Lay's chips, and the apple juice. The same thing, but this time you get both the peanut butter and you get the turkey. So for lunch, you just have to pick one or the other, and for dinner you get both. And that's literally what it was. So now that I finally had the peanut butter, I was able to see what the peanut butter was about. Let me tell y'all, I looked at the peanut butter. I have never seen peanut butter that was so thick like that in my life. I knew for sure that there was something wrong with this peanut butter. That peanut butter wasn't the peanut butter that I can get in the store. That peanut butter was something else. Like, it seemed like they had mixed that peanut butter to, I don't even know, y'all. I don't know if they mixed that peanut butter with water and baking soda to make it so thick. I'm not even sure like what it was, y'all. Like, the peanut butter was so thick, it was ridiculous. Even one of the other girls was like, I ain't never seen no peanut butter thick like this. And I know for sure they ain't taking the peanut butter and just giving you extra peanut butter. They did something with that peanut butter, y'all. That I don't know, child. But y'all, when I tell y'all, it was absolutely ridiculous. Some of the girls that had been in there for days or whatever, child, they were hungry. So I gave them my turkey sandwich since I already had that and I didn't want it again. And I just like tried it with the peanut butter, y'all. When I tell you that thing was so thick, it almost made you want to choke. Mind you, the juice that you have is frozen, so you barely have anything to even sip on. And the only other thing that you can drink up in there was the water from the fountain, and I was not drinking that. I was not drinking that, y'all. I was not drinking that because it was connected to the toilet water. You know, like it was like the toilet was right here, and then behind it, like when you're in the toilet and you're standing in front of the toilet and you like do a U-turn, the water fountain and the sink is right there. They're connected into one. Child, please. So yes, I was drinking that apple juice or whatnot, trying to, you know what I'm saying? So I was just eating the peanut butter real slow, but I wasn't even trying to eat it like that, y'all. But I really didn't have any choice, because at this point, it definitely seemed like I wasn't getting out there on Monday, and that's exactly what happened. So everybody had their place to sleep at basically hours later when everybody's ready to go to sleep. I was happy that I was able to at least see the clock. So at this point, when everybody kind of was really going to sleep, it was around like 1 in the morning, y'all. It's when people finally like fell asleep. And mind you, we all up in here, we don't know each other, so you don't know how people be sleeping, you don't know if people be snoring. You just gotta wait until people fall asleep to really know how they are, you know what I'm saying? So child, what the fuck, man? So y'all, let me tell y'all, I'm so happy to be out of there. Child, I don't even know if I should even say all of that, because it was just ridiculous, y'all. But just imagine you in a place where a whole bunch of people are, and you don't know these people, and you can't get out of this place, and these people are sleeping and all that. Child, yeah, that's what was going on. And so, yeah, around 3 a.m., y'all, they came and they opened the door, and when I tell you all, they like would scream, "Everybody get up! Everybody get up, come get your breakfast," like loud, y'all, like loud as heck. Like their voice was echoing throughout the whole room, and everybody was literally like half asleep getting up, and they wanted you to like move fast like you have been up or whatever, y'all. And so we got up and we got our breakfast. What they gave us was 2 cereals, and the cereals was that dry cereal. What that cereal was, I don't remember what it was, but it was the one that didn't have like no sugar on it or anything. It wasn't no Frosted Flakes, but it was the one that looked like a checkerboard, like the checker thing. I don't remember what it was called, y'all, because I don't even eat cereal like that. They gave us a cereal and they gave us a milk, and that's it. 2 cereals and a milk, and that's literally it. So I ended up giving my cereal away because I didn't care for it, and I don't really drink milk for real. So I gave that away to someone that wanted it way more You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so now that everybody was kind of up, we was all talking amongst each other and things like that, and ciao. So the whole day went by. Basically a lot had went on. Every time that they would clean the cell, they cleaned the cell probably like 3 times a day. Probably they would come in there and they would clean the cell, and when they cleaned the cell, they would have us leave that cell. So the cell that we was in was holding cell 11, and they would take us down to holding cell 9, which was just 2 doors down. So we would have to go over to that cell and sit in there until they was done cleaning the holding cell. And when I tell y'all that cell 9 was freezing cold, I'm talking about it was freezing cold, y'all, ridiculously cold. So we'll have to wait up in there until they was done cleaning, and then we will go back. And when I tell y'all that the cleaning that they would do, hey baby, the cleaning that they would do literally wasn't no cleaning. They literally was just somewhat, I can't even say that they would sweep, because it wasn't sweeping. They literally was just picking up whatever was there, and that was literally it. They didn't mop, they didn't do none of that, y'all. They just picked up anything that was loose trash and got on about their business. It didn't smell like no Fabuloso. It didn't smell like no cleaning supplies. It didn't smell like nothing, y'all. It was just that everything was off the floor, and that was it. And that was literally it. So y'all, when I tell y'all that being up in there was absolutely horrible, it was horrible, y'all. Mind you, I went up in there on Monday. I had to sleep in there. So Tuesday came. I literally stayed the whole day. Tuesday, I literally had got out of jail around 12:30 a.m. Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning, y'all, is when I had got up out of there. I didn't brush my teeth. I didn't take a shower. I was on my period, and I was completely uncomfortable. No jacket, no nothing, around other girls that literally are in the same predicament as me. Some of these girls, like I said, have been in there for like 5 days, up talking all up in your face, haven't brushed their teeth, need deodorant, need to wash their coochie, all type of stuff, y'all. All these different scents. Mind you, everybody is using the bathroom. All these different scents up in there, y'all. We're literally all packed in there together. It was absolutely horrible. Like, the experience up in there was absolutely horrible. And then when I say you have tried to be getting these officers' attention to talk to them and ask them if they've heard anything, like, from anybody upstairs, if the money has been paid or anything like that, so you be able to get up and out of there. Y'all, when I tell you they was straight ignoring everybody. They didn't even care. And people started like tapping on the window to get their attention. And then when you would tap on the window, they would catch an attitude with you and tell you, if you keep tapping like that, I'm going to put you somewhere. And the place that they was talking about was that place where all that nasty cell. That's where they would go and want to put you. Child, I couldn't deal. But that was literally how it was. Like, the whole thing of actually being up in there, y'all. That's how it was in there. It was absolutely horrible. They literally make it so that you would never want to come back. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy because they literally they treat everybody in there the same way. Like, if you murder somebody, you get the same treatment as someone that had a suspended license. Everybody gets treated the same way. You know what I'm saying? So they're tense on every single person. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? I really do. I understand, but I really do think that's ridiculous. Because you need to at least have some type of decency for people. They literally treat you like you're an animal up in there, y'all, and you're literally behind the cage and this and that. Like, you are beneath everything and everybody. Like, you know, I really hated it, y'all. It was absolutely horrible, and I really couldn't stand the fact that that was what I was dealing with in the midst of dealing with someone that was scamming me. That's why I was so mad. Because I could have got out of there on Monday. You know what I'm saying? I could have got out of there on Monday, but I didn't get out of there until Wednesday morning because of this person that stole the money. And then the money had to be like brought back up, like put back together. Child, that's why I was so mad when it came to this whole thing, because I easily could have been out of there by like 5 p.m. Monday, you know, versus me having to stay another day dealing with everything that I had going on, and amongst all these other people that had whatever they had going on. Child. But yes, this is the inside of the jail, and this is what I had to deal with inside of that jail, y'all. So yeah, but I can't imagine how it is for people that have to stay there so much longer and don't know, or people that don't have a job and don't have access to money to be able to get up out of there and don't know where they're going to be able to leave, you know. Yeah, so sorry if that was too much information, but I did want to be able to let y'all know exactly how it was, no filter, you know. So yeah, y'all, thank y'all so much, you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this video, y'all, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.